can see I have a lovely chef salad here, and I just put a little bit of, I think it's either creamy cucumber or ranch dressing, I'm not quite sure, but it's something like that. Maybe I should just taste and see if I... It's not really ranch, I'd say it's more of a creamy cucumber, but this has a lot of chicken and ham and bacon, egg, tomatoes, lettuce, all that stuff, cheese. So I'm looking forward to it. I've had these before. The deli section in the grocery store where I buy these has a really nice assortment. Everything's always nice and fresh. It's really good. I just love it. So, so before I get started, I want to send out my condolences to the lovely state of California. As you know, we all know, they are suffering some major wildfires right now, and there's been a lot of devastation, loss of life, and it's just, it's absolutely unbelievable what's going on down there. I watch the news and I see, satellite images of what was there before and what's there now after, and it's absolutely devastating. I know we all feel, sadness for the people of California. I mean, we can feel their pain all the way up here. It's unbelievable. I can't imagine going through what they're going through right now. I remember about a month and a half ago, we had a power outage for like 24 hours, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I mean, I couldn't imagine what these people are going through. It's devastating. So I think I speak for all of us when I say, we wish all the lovely people of the Golden State all the best. I really don't know what words I can say, what words will mean at this point, but I just want the people of California to know that I myself, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people, that we support you, and you have our sympathy and our thoughts and our prayers. So I really wish all the people of California all the best, and I can't imagine what you're going through right now, but I felt I had to say something. So I know a few months from now some of you might watch this video and think, what's he talking about? But that's not important, and I apologize for not having this video out sooner. I actually had to shuffle a few videos around because my videos are always recorded ahead of time, a couple weeks ahead of time sometimes. So this video would normally have been seen later this month, but I wanted to move it up here. So anyways, all the best to the amazing people of California, not just the people of California, but their families that are spread throughout the rest of the country and the rest of the world. So, okay, so like I said, I have this salad here. If you saw the thumbnail or the title of my video, it says, "Where were you in '62?" That's good. Well, 1962. My life changed a lot. Prior to that, I was living in a small hamlet 7 miles from the Montana border. That hamlet, we moved there in '57 when I was 2 weeks old. We left in '62. When we left, there was literally just 4 or 5 families there. No church, no store. The train no longer ran there. The grain elevator where my dad once worked was being moved out. So that's why we had to move to the big city, Saskatoon. Now, Saskatoon restaurants and buses and buildings and, high rises and bridges and, movie theaters and stuff like that. Whole different world. My life changed completely overnight. And some of the things we had there. Were a lot of different things that you don't see anymore. Or maybe I don't see anymore. I'm hoping there's some spinach in here too. Now, one of those things that as a service that we enjoyed when we first moved there was milk delivery. I remember as a kid, there was 3 different dairies that all delivered. One was Palm Dairy, one was the Co-op, and I can't remember what the other one was. But there was 3 of them. You can totally taste the ginger in this. It's unbelievable. So good. Now to see a truck pull up and a guy get out, he'd have his crate full of glass milk bottles. He'd come up to your house and deliver the milk. That was unbelievable to see. I used to sit by the front window and stare out the window, watch things like street sweepers go by, the milk truck and traffic, kids on bikes, that sort of thing. So the milk delivery man, or milkman, would deliver the milk. He'd come around the back of our house, and every house right by the back door to the left had a milk chute. And the milk chute, you'd open up the doors. It was a small little, just enough to put a quart of milk in, about that big. And you'd open the little door and put it in. And on the other side, on the inside of the house, was another door, about maybe a foot over. So you could open the door, just slide it over, and put in about 3 quarts. And then on the inside, we just open the door and just take it out. And that's how we got our milk. And my mom would leave like a little note in there telling what you wanted. Eventually, you get like a regular routine, right, where you just have the same thing all the time. Unless you want something special. Like I remember the first time we got chocolate milk and orange juice. My sister and I were beside ourselves. Wow. Chocolate milk. That was the first time I ever drank chocolate milk. I thought I was in heaven. The chocolate milk was made by a company called Vico, V-I-C-O. And the orange juice was made by a company called Beep. So for years after that, I would refer to chocolate milk as Vico and orange juice as Beep. It's funny what you grow up with, what you're used to. Now the milk bottles themselves had a deposit. I think they were 2 cents or 5 cents or something, can't remember. Sometimes, one time this kid came around, neighborhood kid. People were reporting that their bottles got missing, or sometimes you put the change right in the bottle, right? And the milkman would take the bottle and the change, and This is back in the days when, for the most part, you could do stuff like that. One neighborhood kid, early in the morning, was go around steal people's bottles and their change. And it turned out the kid was the son of a police officer in the neighborhood. I think this police officer was a bit embarrassed by the whole thing, so I guess he really opened up a can of whoop ass on his kid. And he never did it again. I'm trying to remember his name. His first name was Lance. I remember his name was Lance, that's all I remember. But that's a service I never see anymore. No, I must say they don't have milk delivery. It's not something that I see in my world. I haven't seen milk delivery since we left Saskatoon over 50 years ago. So when I say I don't see that anymore, or it no longer exists, it no longer exists in my world. And I'll get to that a little bit later. I'll give you an example. Another thing, doctors making house calls. I'm sure doctors make house calls, but it's not something I've seen since I left Saskatoon. Like I said, over 50 years ago. We used to have a doctor, Dr. Logie, who was very good. He would say, unless it's an emergency, he said, I'll be up there this afternoon. Because the afternoon is when he did his house calls. In the morning, he was either at the clinic or doing hospital rounds or whatever. I remember so many times him coming to the house, you know, to my mom would call him for me or my sister or for herself. And there's another doctor, Dr. Langer, who was a surgeon. He performed gallbladder surgery on both my parents, and he took out my appendix because I had appendicitis, and he would come to the house as well and check up on, like, you know, for my aftercare and all that. Make sure I was healing up okay. So it's not something I ever see anymore. You know, I guess there might be doctors out there that still do that, but back then it was just a regular occurrence, you know. They come with their medical satchel and check you out. Now, another thing they stopped doing years ago when I went to school. Every morning in elementary school, the intercom would come on, and we'd all sing "O Canada," and we'd say the Lord's Prayer, and then the principal would have a message to say a few words about what was going on or something. That was it. They stopped doing that a number of years ago. I asked one of Linda's granddaughters about "O Canada." I said, "You sing "O Canada"?" And she says, "No." I said, "Have you ever heard that song?" She says, "Yeah, I know. We sing it in assemblies and stuff, but we don't sing it every morning." And I said, "How about the Lord's Prayer?" And she goes, "What?" She had no clue what I was talking about. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad that they don't do that sort of thing anymore. All I'm saying is that changed from when I was a kid. Every Friday we had assembly, I was a kid, everything was closed on Sunday. There was nothing open on Sunday. Maybe a gas station. Maybe. And Wednesdays. Wednesdays the stores closed in the afternoon. So it was only a half day on Wednesday. If you wanted to go shopping, you couldn't do it on Wednesday afternoon. You could in the morning, but not in the afternoon. These are city bylaws. I remember one time running into a friend of mine years ago. He was driving taxi and he was driving on the weekends, and I said, "You like working weekends?" He says, "Well, it's Sunday, there's nothing else to do. You know, everything's closed. What else will I do? May as well work." I thought, yeah, good point. And I hate to admit it, but my underage buddies and myself, even when we were of legal age, we'd go to a bootlegger on a Sunday, pay $20 for a case of beer that would normally sell for $5, you know. Crazy. I want you to know that was peer pressure. I never would have done that by myself. When I first saw stores opening on Sunday, I thought, wow, that's amazing. It really changed things. A lot of convenience stores and drugstores and everything just started opening up. And not only that, but Sunday evenings, you know, stores staying home till 8 o'clock, you know, 10 o'clock. Like I said, that's not something I see anymore. I didn't mind things being closed on Sunday. I thought it was a nice day of rest, you know, it really was. Sundays can and maybe should be a nice quiet day, you know. Another thing I rarely see, actually I haven't seen one in years, is a phone booth. Phone booths, you know, used to be everywhere. Even in the mall, there'd be like four of them, like a cluster of four of them, one here, 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 and here, you know. In the middle of the mall, they'd be everywhere, you know. The only thing I see that's close to a phone booth is like a taxi line, you know, right outside a grocery store or something you can call a taxi, you know, a direct line. But no, phone booths used to be everywhere, you know. Back in the 50s, it was a fad for all these high school kids to pile into them, see how many they could get into a phone booth, and, you know. But, you know, I never see phone booths anymore. And I guess for the obvious reason, why would you, you know? I mean, we all have phones. Why would you need a phone booth? But yet they were so commonplace at one time. Everywhere. And not just phone booths. Dial phones. I haven't seen a dial phone. I mean, I rarely see landlines anyway. I remember when we first bought our house, my parents bought their house in 1962. They had a dial phone mounted on the wall, a black one. You just lift the receiver off and dial, you know. And then they got one. Got a push button phone. Ooh, push button. My mom thought that was out of this world. It was kind of like a beige, white color type thing. And it was kind of that sat on a desk, you know. Very nice. She was so proud of that phone, you know. Pick it up and just like that, right? She really thought that was something. never see those type of things anymore. Another thing that I never see is roof antennas. Roof antennas were something that every house had when I was a kid. I mean, you look across the skyline, every house had a roof antenna. Now, for years, my dad took a bicycle tire, stuck it on the attic, and attached the wires to that, and that worked very well. We only had one channel in Saskatoon. Hard to imagine, I know. But that's what he used for antenna. Then one day, bought one. I remember it came in this big long box, and he opened it up, the whole thing had to spread out, like a flower just opened up, and you put it on the roof, and man, that really improved the signal. Because we had that bicycle tire in the attic, plus we had these rabbit ears, these adjustable rabbit ears that were real high tech, right? But once he bought that antenna, that really made a difference. Like the clarity and everything was just amazing. Still only have one channel, but came in crystal clear. And satellite dishes. I remember satellite dishes. They were huge at one time. They were monstrous, like huge. People have in their backyards. They're like something you'd see at an army base or something. They're absolutely massive. And I was kind of thinking, wow, is that the future? Will I see those everywhere? Like I used to see TV antennas. Now, of course, the satellite dishes got smaller. And they would, you walk to the guy's house, and it's right by the front door. You see it up there, But I pictured those things would just be everywhere. And I guess right now, as many as there used to be. Like I gotta be honest, I don't see satellite dishes that much anymore, unless it's on a building or something, like a condo or whatever. But the TV antennas I was talking about, I see different antennas for different things, I remember my buddy had an FM radio. He wanted to get FM in really good to get all these different stations from all over. And he got this big, huge antenna. And there was 4 of us over at his place one time. Him and me and 2 other guys, so there's 4. And he wanted us to go on the roof and help him with that thing, help set it up. We couldn't even lift it. It was just ridiculous. And there's power lines around it. That guy opened and dropped us and got electrocuted. He was one of those guys that always did everything to the extreme. Now, when I was a kid, every city block in Saskatoon had a back alley. Back alleys everywhere. And that's where you put your garbage cans. And everybody had like a thing they would build in their backyard, put their garbage cans on. So they look nice and tidy, and the garbage truck would go down. And there'd be the garbage truck, there'd be the driver, and one guy on each side of the back of the truck. And they would just grab those cans, throw them in, put them back. Bit of a racket, I always thought that was fascinating when I was a tiny little kid watching that. Like I said, in Buffalo Gap, I never saw that. But you don't see that anymore. The garbage truck comes along now. It's one guy never gets out of his truck. The big arm comes down. He picks up the can, turns it upside down, puts it back. And when you think about it, I mean, that's automation. But at one time, things I always saw as a kid. So many things I just don't see anymore. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, like, things have changed. Another thing I don't see a lot of is door-to-door salespeople. Like a Fuller Brush salesman or an Avon lady or Mary Kay. When I was a kid, we always had people come to the door trying to sell something. My mom was an Avon lady for a while. It's like everybody's mom was an Avon lady. I remember going to birthday parties, and I was always the kid that brought the soap on the rope. Like, I'm surprised I didn't get beat up for that. I was glad my mom quit the Avon business. But you don't see a lot of those anymore. I guess people they get stuff on Amazon or whatever. They don't need a salesman or a sales lady come to the door to try and sell them something. Now, another thing. And I'm glad of this one. When I was a kid, nobody wore seatbelts. Ever. It was like, it was weird. The car came with a seatbelt, but nobody wore them. It seemed like, and the people would get the crazy, what's this thing? My dad bought a brand new 1968 Ford Galaxy. Oops. I took my driver's test in that car. It had seat belts. And also had the shoulder strap. The shoulder straps stayed tucked up there. That's how they were back then. It was like it was folded up. It was like an option. Nobody ever wore a shoulder strap, never mind a seat belt, or vice versa. I'm totally glad people wear seat belts because seat belts save lives. But back then, I remember my friend Richard's dad picked us up at the swimming pool. And they had a big station wagon. And we all piled the station wagon, at the back and everything. I bet you there was probably 10 kids in that car and nobody was wearing a seatbelt. So I guess how I should have put that was I never see people not wearing seatbelts. There was a time that nobody did. Now, another thing I don't see is drive-in movie theaters. Last time I went to one was in the 70s. Can't remember the last time I actually saw one. When I was a kid, we'd go to them all the time. Used to be fun sneaking in. 3 people in the trunk. I know sometimes, actually a few years ago, Parks and Rec in town here here set up a movie, like a big screen. They set it up out on a raft on the lake, and that's about as close as people got to seeing a drive-in movie. But you would drive in, and you go sit on the beach and watch it. What kind of thought? Somebody opened a movie theater as a retro novelty thing. It could probably do quite well. Because back then they used to have those little speakers, but it was getting to the point where they improved the sound where you could tune it in on your FM, so it was much better. Now, last of all, drive-in restaurants. Now, I did a video a while ago on drive-in movies and drive-in restaurants, and somebody, or actually quite a few people, said, there's drive-in restaurants in the United States called Sonic, which I never heard of. If we have them in Canada, we don't have one here. I've never been to a Sonic. So once again, in my world, I haven't seen a drive-in restaurant. Last time I remember going to a drive-in restaurant was A&W, and that was in, I believe, in the 70s. I don't mean drive-through, I mean drive-in. And I mean, there might be more other restaurants in Sonic that offer that service, but not where I live. This was delicious. Absolutely delicious. Boy, those bacon bits at the bottom. Wow. What a way to finish it off. Well, so I would love to hear from you about things that you don't see anymore in your world. I know a lot of you were not born until, maybe the 70s, the 80s, 90s, maybe later. What changes have you seen, or what things do you not see that you miss? I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts if you don't mind. So until then, look after yourselves, look after each other. And once again, my heart breaks for the people of California. All the best to you, okay? Look after yourselves and